We podcasted 2 days ago, and then the next day we shot indoor together, and then today we shot outdoor together. So we've spent 3 days in a row together. Who would have had it on their map? And we probably would have tomorrow, but Brianna and I are heading out to a tournament, and you're catching a jet home, and but it was good. What was your thought on shooting indoor? First ever time, if I'm not mistaken, shooting indoor. What did you think?
So you know how like the first time you record yourself, and especially if you're walking with any pace, you're like, dang, I am mouth breathing hard right now. My first thought when I came to full draw and I let out a little, and that dude was a foot in front of me, I was like, I know he felt that on his neck. Guarantee he felt that on his neck. And that was the most, I felt like when you go to boot camp, everything is, the term is nut to butt. Like you line up, everything is here. And that's how I felt. I felt like I was drawn in a phone booth, but it was fun though. You might have got like scratched a little competitive itch there. So that bow that I'm shooting right now, if I upgrade, the one that I have currently is probably going to turn into a target bow of some sort. It got me.
Look, I think it's a good idea.
Crystal.
Yeah.
Lame? No.
Don't blame me.
No.
I'll tell you why too. Why I think it's would be good. Number one is, as we talked about, indoor really shows you all your holes in shooting. You know what I mean? Because it's not like shooting outdoor where you can go, I didn't account for the slope, or there was wind, or the sun was hitting me crazy. Like there's nothing. It's just you, the bow, and the target. Like That's it. So it's so good for that, I think. And the nice part is you shoot the long lift. So if you get the, whatever, the Lift X or the Hoyt 90, whatever you want to get, or the Bowtech Virtue 80, whatever.
You got to lead with that, dog.
You got to lead a Virtue 80. My point is, like, you have a good setup to transition into an indoor bow. I think you're shooting 85 pounds.
That was not a smart thing.
Your bow felt good, though. Like, today I shot it, I think I shot one whole quiver, and then I shot at least 4 arrows, maybe 5. Your draw felt good. I mean, it doesn't feel super crazy.
Yeah.
But imagine holding that.
No, I'm just saying, like, I was impressed by the draw cycle. I was impressed by it. Yeah, it felt good.
Yeah, it's clean. So that's why, because before I was shooting a bow that had 75 pound mods, and I was twisting it up, and that felt a little bit more junk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I wasn't going to upgrade, and then they dropped 80 pound mods, and I'm like, well, take my money, I guess. So that's kind of how that went. And it is noticeably smoother. One thing I did notice too for indoor, the peep just disappears.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I might as well not have a peep tied in. I could see like a faint black circle. It was weird. Like, what is that phenomenon? What am I?
I don't know. I think it has something to do with the lighting, and you're absolutely right. It is interesting. Like, your peeps lined up when you just don't see anything. Like you said, it almost fades out. But I'll tell you what's really a trip. So on my indoor bow, yesterday I was shooting my outdoor bow, so it has no clarifier and no magnification, but my indoor bow has clarifier and magnification. What's really a trip, dude, is when you're in a draw and that, I can actually see my eyelashes, the reflection of my eyelashes in the clarifier. And that is odd. And like, if I shot it outside, you're not going to probably see that. So I don't know. It has something to do maybe with the lighting and the reflection off the floor. I'm not sure, but you are right. It is like a totally different look.
I would say, like, if you are strictly a bow hunter and in your mind, you have like set up some mental defense mechanism, like, these folks shoot better than me because they're nerds and I could easily transition over to that. I would say try it.
Yeah.
And go be humbled by shooting it.
Right. Because it makes you, if you have any type of competitive bone in your body, you're going to be like, how do I clean up? How do I like hone that edge? Mm-hmm. Because that peep thing happens too. If you're hunting last light, early morning.
Oh,
it's the same thing, but like, then you kind of get away with it. But when you have to shoot 30 arrows and you have to deal with that peep, it makes you have to deal with that peep and start researching, what am I going to do next? So
yeah. And I think another thing I really like about indoor as well is, just like you, I am competitive, and it's the best thing I found in archery to be competitive with yourself. I mean, the other thing that's good is I love to shoot, like, just go out and shoot groups and see how tight I can get them and get them tighter and tighter and tighter. That's competitive with yourself too, but shooting indoor, like, you could stand inside at 10 yards and shoot paper, or 20, or, however far. And it's like such a good way to push yourself to keep going, keep improving, keep getting more consistent, without breaking arrows either, because you're not shooting groups at one dot, you're shooting at 3 separate dots. So that's nice about it. And I thought what was interesting about the day we shot, we will have a video on our channel, and then the outdoor video will be on yours, but I have never even shot when it was fully booked out, fully crowded, right? So like you said, normally when we're there filming, it's like just me and maybe one other guy, like 5 rows down.
Yeah.
We were bam, 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 bam. So it was
Not to, but I think someone needs to put in for a appeal to, I'm not saying to allow bigger people to fit in the slots, but like,
Listen,
what if?
like who gets the armrests?
Yeah.
yeah.
I hate the middle seat. I hate. Yeah, when you sitting back in the back and watching that in a row, my mind just said, I don't want nothing to do with this. I don't want to partake at all. It's so, you gotta not be claustrophobic. You gotta not have a fear of people, because it's just like, I could already feel the anxiety of like going and put your bow down, and like I would notice how people put it down like in front of them out of their box that you have to stand in, so that they're able to like get around it. Otherwise, like you can't get in.
It was tight.
Very tight. Now I'm trying to picture like in person what Vegas will look like because it's the same size, but for 100 people lined up.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
It's some Final Destination vibes, is what it is.
It's gonna be crazy
because it's like there's some trust in there too. Not to like,
for sure.
Don't tell me I'm the only one who got scarred a little bit by Final Destination, where you're trusting that dude right next to you, his peep is tied in properly. You're trusting that they've checked their arrows so it's not gonna explode on. Like when you're tracking, you're trusting that their knock is good. That close to each other, if a problem with their bow is your problem. Like,
a fact.
There was a.
You're also trusting that they didn't eat hot and spicy chili for dinner the night before. Could you imagine?
Maybe that's a tactic. Maybe that's my play. That might be my play.
Yeah, you go.
Take me to Arby's, baby. And yeah, that's not that.
I quit. I need him moved. Like, he's out, disqualified for his dinner. I could not. That would be disgusting.
Oh yeah, don't have some gum. You got to chew it. You got to spit it out.
My
taste's gonna be in your gum.
I kind of don't mind display.
Yeah, you better mince in your pocket just in case you're like, kind of use them like what's the salt called that they like snort?
Smelling salt.
Smelling salts, but like some mints you crush up and hold them so you can like have some minty freshness up your nose in case it is like bead around you.
I can't smell anything anyway, so
that's a superpower. Yeah.
I have a terrible nose. It's not great for hunting, but for everything else, I think it's fine. My nose is not good.
No,
I have had a nose surgery. Fun fact.
It didn't work.
you did have a nose.
Or you wrecked it again.
No, it didn't work. I mean, it was okay. I think my airflow improved like a little bit, but not. It wasn't what I was hoping for. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but
you went under for the surgery?
Oh yeah.
Dang, you went under and woke up like not fixed. Gotta be a no way.
It's better. I mean, like I said, it's slightly better. That was a long time ago, but
This is slightly better. We couldn't have stayed together before. What was your snoring like that?
I don't know. I was sleeping.
Let me turn my. I'm gonna turn my chair so this is couples therapy now.
I love it. Got him.
Because y'all getting ready to say for better or for worse at some point.
Yeah, true.
So if his snoring gets worse, you're locked in.
He his mom's on my side.
I'm getting a
Look,
CPAP
if he
at some
doesn't get a
point.
CPAP or look to fix it himself, there's nothing wrong with you telling him to sleep on the couch. She's on my side. She's like, kick him out. You know?
By the way,
you gotta sleep.
Don't listen.
Because your sleep counts too.
if anyone has a CPAP company or does marketing for one and would like to sponsor somebody,
Or
reach out to me.
using their CPAP anymore.
Sure.
You gotta buy the
Yeah.
tubes and what.
Yeah, I'm a cheap bastard, so if we can do some marketing, I'm in.
Actually, tubes, it's just a machine.
That's right.
Yeah.
The machine cleans.
I got a couple extra tubes, dog.
Oh, nice.
If you could get the machine,
Let's go.
I got you.
Let's go. Look at us figuring it out.
But anyways, back to shooting indoor.
We're in such old man land right now.
Oh, yeah.
Bring it back around. We got 1 hour to cover so many things, so many topics. Any other thoughts on indoor shooting? Did you find it fun?
You know what it felt like?
Competitive.
You know what it felt like? Because it's a simple task. For one, there's a fatigue factor if you're not shooting a bunch, right? So there's I'm shooting the poundage that I'm shooting, and I'm spread across like too many hobbies. So I'll shoot like a couple arrows, throughout the week. I'm not sitting there in a session, in full honest transparency, shooting 30 arrows. So I started off like X 10, or it's X 10, 9 or something like that. And then it was like 10, fairly good. But then shoulder started to wear down. Got tired, right? So like that's a factor. Just shooting conditioning, which is not the same as a run, like cardio, normal cardio. And then it kind of gave me vibes of just sitting at the free throw line shooting. It's a free throw is super simple, but like add a little bit of pressure, add a little bit of put it on the line. And that's kind of what I like about it too, because it keeps you in that clutch mode, right? Because I feel like a lot of times when we hunt, we shoot at this big bell and there's no consequences, because even if you're off, you're not going to lose an arrow. So if you never dial down to something that small where that little bit, that inch off, or really millimeters off, changes the dynamic of the score, maybe makes you lose. I think that's something that we may not get right a lot in just the bow hunting community.
Well, and it very much so too. That is, we talk about a good hunting shot, and a good hunting shot's the size of could be a dinner plate, depending on the animal. It could be the size of a turkey dinner plate, down to maybe a dessert plate. But that's the size of the entire ring. That's out to the 6 in indoor target, and so. I think it brings back into reality, if you want to really hone in, you go hunting and you think, oh, God, 20-yard shots can be a chip shot on an animal.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a great hunting shot. Great. It sounds easy when you're hunting an animal, but then are you really taking seriously what it means to make a good 20-yard shot? Because you do indoor and you realize, granted, all of those you shot are great shots if it were on an animal.
Yep.
But do you want to better your chances of always making that type of shot on an animal? Sitting there and shooting 30 arrows in a row at just 20 yards that we all call a chip shot.
Yep.
It's going to really make you realize, okay, now I can be better or should be better and eventually will be better at increasing my odds of always making that good chip shot, 20-yard shot. So I just think that's an interesting... I call it humbles you going indoor. I straight up just quit after round 6. I was like, this sucks. I'm just all over that little, pie plate size ring. I'm like, God.
Sorry for anybody who rolls their eyes and tired of hearing about jiu-jitsu, but it's the why I'm so big on you should get into a fight in a controlled area, because getting used to that, oh my God, my heart just went from 0 to 1,000, but now my hands ain't working right and I still got to somehow perform. It's the same thing that's happening on that line. Now you're the last person shooting because maybe, you're pulling from a quiver when everybody's pulling out of the thing. So now you got one more arrow to fly and everybody is waiting for you to finish. So they're all looking at you before they can go and, clear and walk down. All of that is so good to train your nervous system so you don't just black out. I'm kind of fortunate because for the last 10 years, I've been in a spot where I can hunt literally every day. But if you're in a place where you have to wait a season, you're going to get dull to that adrenaline dump, and it's going to be weird for you to feel it again. I may come to full draw on probably 10 plus axis deer at least per year, and double that in pigs per year, right? Like, and I still get, I'll still feel that from 0 to 100. So I can't imagine having to wait a whole nother year to try it again. That's crazy. That's crazy to me.
Yeah. Dude, that's a good point. That is a unique part about Hawaii. It's just the ability to hunt the goats, pigs, or axis year round in different terrains, different types of animals. That is unique to that location. I mean, a lot of places you can hunt pigs year round, but that's usually about it, them and coyotes. So to have several things, pretty cool. That is a cool part about Hawaii. And one thing I was wondering when we were out there that I would be curious to know is, are there any like predators? Are there coyotes? Are there mountain lions, bobcats?
Nothing.
No. That's so crazy.
Pigs. That's about it.
Just
that's
pigs.
as predatory as it gets is pigs. Yeah.
Wow. And I guess maybe you said there was some wild dogs or dogs that people would have sometimes.
Yeah, but
maybe they'll.
Yeah, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, you're not dealing with cougars. You're not dealing. Yeah. That's it.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
You know what's kind of wild? So that goat I shot, I'm sure I told you when we were out there, but he had actually been shot before in the upper back. He had a friggin' big 2-blade
monsters. So.
Yeah, it was all healed up. Like he would have been good to go. It didn't have hair yet, but it was sealed up like a scab, and he was ready to rip. But you could tell he had been shot right through the top of the back.
And it's not like he stayed in bed rest. Like if we had a procedure, we would stay in bed. He didn't stay embedded and follow some doctor's orders. He's still running around and healing.
From rock to rock.
Crazy.
I freaking loved goat hunting. I loved it. I loved the terrain. I love how gnarly it was. And just like everything's in prickers and nasty. It's super steep. It's just like, it was gnarly. I mean, it was good, tough terrain, tough animals to hunt. And I love that kind of hunting. I love a good luxurious hunt too, but I really like those ones where you got to grind it out. And, we're going back to Hawaii this year for the axis hunt. There's 3 spots left, hooveshornshideaways.com if you want to get the last 3 spots. It may be sold by the time this is out, but, we were thinking actually about staying another week and doing the goats again in the same spot.
I'll be up there in the next 2 weeks. If I get cleared, the MRI, I will be back up there shooting the last couple Easton 5.0s that I got left in my quick run.
Yeah, I've game planned, and I've already, one also, we probably beat this to a dead horse, so like between potting or videos or whatnot. Like I've always so I was like at the start of, you could call it a health journey, when I made it out to Hawaii, and that was probably like my heaviest ever in my whole life.
So you're ready to test yourself again.
Oh, and we've been doing it through the last few hunts we've been on, and even like Ted's noticed it and whatnot, like my endurance level, my, stamina, all it. And so I'm like, in my head, I'm like, all right, I do know where I would like, potentially to go and sit and wait them out like we did this past trip. But also I'm like, at least a couple times, because I'm like, in my head, I'm like, this is going to work. I saw so many of them hanging out up there, and that was another like 80 plus yards. I needed to go up higher, and it turns into like rock climbing at that point. And I'm like, you can't go up. So I'm like, no, I got this game plan. Like I'm going to start from the long point of the mountain. I'm going to side hill all the way up the ridges, all the way to the top, and then come down at them, so that like I'm up there at the, where we saw them when we were leaving that final day, and I was like, F you goats. They're like literally skylined on the top. And I'm like, nope, I'm gonna start my morning up there with the goats at the very top.
So that's always been my game plan. Yeah.
But I couldn't, the way we came in also couldn't, I don't even know, at my strength now if I could do it, just literally because of the height portion.
The ridge I took you guys to?
Well, from there, we would
Cross to the,
cross, like, right.
this would be to the south.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you can get all the way that ridge. If you just follow that up, you can go straight all the way up to that fence line.
The problem is she doesn't have the cojones for that.
It is
steep
sketchy.
stuff.
It's sketchy.
When you follow that one, I think we went there one day, and I could have still kept going quite a ways, if not all the way. Like height-wise, climbing wasn't going to be the issue. It was just like, I looked down once and then said, I can't go.
She's cracking me up right now because she gets real sketched out of like steep stuff or heights. So I'm like, she's gonna be. I don't know. She's starting from. She might be talking, gassing herself up. I know where you want to go. It's gonna be steep though. Still, it's gonna be steep as a master.
But I don't think it'll be sheer on either.
We'll see.
To the top, it will be sheer on either side, but the walk up, I don't think will be.
Yeah.
So, but where we went the majority of the time, I call it to the right, like from that place we walked and stopped at. It's like
That would be south.
This way, yeah, right, south. Yes, south. And I don't do northwest, southeast. I do left, right, the corner of the intersection where the stop sign and the yellow building.
I gotta pause you there because we come from the same active duty place, and you telling me you don't do cardinal directions? That's crazy. That's wild.
I've never been good at them. I try my hardest to get better at them, and they just never come to me. I'm like,
did they smoke you in OCS? Did it never come up?
Yeah, it never really, I guess, came up more. We just dealt with mow boards a lot. And as long as I could solve a mow board, I was fine.
Which props on that? That is
they're hard. All right.
Props on that.
A mow board is.
You ever heard of a mow board?
Know what a mow board is?
It's short for maneuvering boards, right? I don't want to bore everybody with this. Essentially, it's a way to tell which way aircraft are going, ships are going, or whatever, without like radar. So you can visually tell where they're at and you get a bearing to them. And over time, you observe them every like 3 minutes or 5 minutes. And based off of that, you can tell
speed and direction. You'll be able to say, it's like a math problem on I call it the FCAT, like your standardized testing. Like in 7 minutes at a speed of 25 knots, this ship is traveling due north at 295 degrees or whatever. Where will they be in 7 minutes? And
then it turns into trig, right? Because now you get their relative bearing and you know your course. So based off of that, you can tell what this angle is, which tells you where they're at. And then you can develop their course, their speed, and then their closest point of approach so you don't hit. And then they throw in there, you got to make a decision on which way to turn because they're going to hit you and then another ship is coming. Anyways, we might have to edit this out. We might have lost.
No, we're leaving it in here. Yeah. I love it. I love it.
It's very easy and hard math at the same time, like, because it's easy math in a way, but if you mess one step up within the
over with.
It's wrong.
And then you have to remember
completely over.
Rules of the road, who gets to stay, who keeps we're in a head-on situation, who's a stand-on vessel, who is the giveaway vessel. We're in a crossing, we're in an overtaking. And enough nerd talk.
Wow, that was exciting. That was riveting. It was riveting. You call this
to explain it in
especially when I'm already tired.
I'm tired, boss.
Back in the old days, if like in a movie,
shout out to John Coffey.
The blinking radar, and you see the little blip, the blinking green going like this, bloop, bloop.
Yes.
Bloop. The mow board is literally just like, okay, here's one bloop, and I need to find this bloop in 7 minutes.
Sounds fun.
Yo, those World War II vets that were dogfighting, like, oh, geez, bro.
Yeah.
Gangsters.
Back then to do it like that fast because that was the only way they could do it.
And come up with a firing solution on the moving vessel and shoot a torpedo at them.
Simultaneously, all of them working at it at the same time. Like, props to all of them. That's how wars were really won. Like, good on you, soldier.
American gangster. That's why we are back-to-back World War champs. Let's go!
Yeah.
Let's go!
Shout out to Denzel. Denzel, great movie. Honestly, I'd say peak Denzel. This portion of the podcast is sponsored by the U.S. Navy. Head into your local recruiting office and give them a talk.
So the PVH 10 saves you 10%.
Yeah.
You ain't getting no bonus on that.
teambd, usnavy.com.
Yeah. Anyways, we were
crazy.
talking about all of that because I don't go north from south. And if you go south, there's a ridge line that it's really when you're in there, it's like a giant bowl, you know? And so I wouldn't be on the right side of the bowl, like if you're looking into the bowl. And there's like a jungle-like section that they come down during the middle of the day to. And I'm like, but they're not there all day. They go out from there, disperse and feed and climb up through the rocks. But that section above the tree line that gets real rocky is not like the fingers side that you go up. There are no fingers. It's just fingers, I mean like ridge lines that go up to the top skyline. They're just like rocky cliffs. And
You gonna climb that?
we climbed a couple.
Y'all crazy.
And I was like, no. I literally at one point finally reached the point where like I couldn't even set my bow up to reach anymore. So it's like there's nothing. I would be free climbing at that point, just putting my foot into something and hoping that lava rock is going to hold up while I pull myself up to the top.
You would have been a real life Alex Honnold.
Yeah, you would have seen me fall.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna need y'all to do is not come to my home and die.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Those rocks, the most nimble. I'm telling you, people who I would say some of the most nimble people I know. I've watched them like go for some slides, but by the grace of God, like.
Yeah.
So, like, just keep this dude tame a little bit.
Well, he's the one you have to worry about.
That's what I'm saying. Keep him tamed a little bit.
I gotta admit, he knows too. Like his coordination.
Then we're back to couples therapy. He's like, you better not. Don't finish it.
He'll be shooting a business text and filming a short while he's walking down a ridge line that, drops off to a cliff on one side and just la-di-da, and then he'll slip out from under his feet and I'll yell and be like, calm down back there. I'm like, you literally almost just fell to your death. And he's just like, calm down. So, nope. So I'm opted out of that direction. But if you start from the very bottom, there's a long way up and it's slow and steady. But that's the way I want to go up and basically just like work the whole.
Yeah, because when you go my ridge, what sucks is when you come back down, there's some spots where you have to jump down. Like you can't just like,
I'm out, dog.
you can't sit on your butt and like your foot reach. So you have to just say, okay, I could see death. But this pad is about 2-3 feet. Like you just have to allow your feet to come off the ground for a second to get back down.
Yeah, see, I do that stuff in like Arizona in like a wash where, I'm the lowest of low. So that 6-foot little drop off this rock in the wash is like, I can't fall to my death on either side. There was one time this last trip in Arizona that James picked this route down basically a finger very similar to the one. We went up one just like where you go up, and we went down another one very similar to that. And it gets to like, it looked almost like the lava rock, like dark gray black. But it was like shaly, like sand and rock. And he's like, this is the last steep section. It's fine. Just come down. And I watch him go down it. And I'm like, here's the ground. And here's James. I'm like, nothing about this looks even remotely possible. I don't even know how your boots are gripping the ground at this point. And I call it subway surfing, the game. I go subway surfing a lot in Arizona because if it's too steep, I just get down, squat, and I use my legs to like slide down. And then I'll just start shimmying with my feet if I stop moving and just keep going some more.
Ain't no wrong with that.
But it's easier to do that when you don't see death on either side of you. And that was the time we went up your direction. I was like, he sent me a picture and he's just like sitting down straddling either side of the ridge. And like, so that's the ridge is this wide up there? I'm like, Ain't no way.
I mean,
Do it.
that picture up there in the corner, y'all can't see it. That says it all, though.
Yeah.
That's death all around him right there.
He's nuts.
Cliffhanger clip.
Literally nuts. But all of that to say, when we go, I've game planned like being a little bit stronger and having some more endurance of like, I will make sure I'm leaving with a goat this time.
See, and I've got plenty midway up, too.
Oh yeah, I shot mine. I would say. Well, we actually both shot one. Hers just went somewhere unrecoverable. But yeah, it was about. I would say it was like midway.
Yeah.
Found a pocket, and I would have been more than down to go up to the higher country too. But she was just that was too steep. It's testing her limits. But nonetheless, it worked. The same plan would work again. But I did see some real mature goats up there. But the one I shot ended up being quite nice. He was the nicest in a group of probably about 20.
Comparison to some
There was one whopper up there.
pictures of, or you've seen, told us about, shown pictures of, have. I'm like, oh, we're gonna go where the whoppers are.
Yeah.
Go.
I mean, you're not going to want to eat it, though. I guarantee that.
Yeah.
Yep. I struggled through every one of those decent sized goats.
Yeah.
It's miserable. The nannies taste like just
You just make this.
red meat.
Yeah.
Like that there, but the billy goats, bro, oh my God.
Oh, geez, oh,
Why
Keith,
is
Martha.
like the billy goats taste so much worse than the.
They're rutted up.
Ugh.
I got some footage of like some wild stuff going on with them goats, like brutal. They are brutal. Like, yeah. So their testosterone is just so freaking high, and they just get, I mean, and they're peeing on themselves constantly, and they're just marinating themselves in stank.
Yeah, they stink.
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. You can wrap the meat up and like double bag it, like butcher paper, all of that. Sometimes like if they're really rutted up, you're gonna smell it through that. They're like, how like a big nasty pig is. That's what the goats smell. Yeah, it's just. I'd take a nanny now any day.
Yeah.
I need one with thorns.
You need one with some jewelry on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Any little one though, but I do want to go all the way to the top just because.
You gotta touch the fence.
We'll see what happens.
No, I'm going to make it up there.
We'll see.
The only thing about, can't say too much, but
Yeah, don't give up.
Don't blow. Don't spot
don't
burn.
burst.
Don't you dare.
I gotta go back there now.
not leave in all good conscience my vehicle where it needed to be left to go to cover a good portion of the hike in the dark
Listen,
because of things.
just get the insurance
Yeah.
on the rental. There's a reason, they factor that in. Okay, get the insurance on the vehicle.
Have to get the insurance.
Make sure you get the insurance.
Otherwise, that was the sole thing keeping me / us, I think, from having to park where you'd have to park.
Get the insurance and then send it. And if you guys come back down and the vehicle is jacked up or gone, call me and I'll make sure you get a ride. And then
exactly.
you can get another vehicle. Like,
Exactly.
if somebody steals the vehicle, I mean, they didn't steal your vehicle.
It is what it is,
Is that unethical?
You remember that TV show back in the day called like what was it called? Trap Car or something, where they
Bait car.
Bait
Like,
car. That's right. They would leave keys in the car with the door open, and people would hop in to steal the car, and it's all on film. But as soon as they would hop in and drive off,
The lock.
the car would shut off and it's locked. So then they would start freaking out, and cops would pull up on them, and it was great.
Oh, dang. Yeah, that was on the free. That was the free channel days.
Yeah, 100%. And then like you had America's Most Wanted and Cops. It was just a wild era of TV. But that, Cops is back on now. I don't know about Bait Car. I'm not sure if Bait Car is on, but that was good stuff. But okay, so all right. We also shot outdoor. We shot at Rube Powell Archery Range in Balboa Park. Your first time there. So let's go. You've shot this trip at Performance Archery indoor. Yep. You've shot at Morley Field Range. Mm-hmm. What'd you think of Morley Field?
Morley was cool because it looked like that range gave me the vibe that somebody looked at a plot of land and said, this would be smart for a range, right? Not like there was some thought There was some thought put into it. It was actually in a bowl, so it was a natural like windbreak, and then there was trees all around. So while it's not as good as being in performance archery to, just dial everything with no wind, but it was about as close as you can get at a range.
Yeah.
Shooting at my home range, right? You're windy all day. The YPO range, you got to catch it at a certain time. I'm not going to give the certain time because I would like to have some time to be able to shoot. But there is a spot that you can slide into at that range where it's the same. But that one seems well thought out. There's lights above, so if you want to, looks like they do like a Friday night light shoot or something like that. It looks like these like archery places were like created by people who actually love archery, and like they didn't, I don't know, like where we're at in Hawaii, it's almost like somebody's like, take this little piece, take this little piece and get out my face for your little archery hobby. You know what I mean? Whereas it looks like somehow y'all out here got some prime real estate.
I think a lot of the ranges, or those two specifically, Morley and Rube Powell, I think have just been there a long, long time. So that's like, I almost think they swooped up the real estate.
San Diego Archers.
Yeah. So I think they swooped up the real estate or had leases to it before it, maybe got so condensed and expensive. But I will say this, that one range that we shot, that we filmed with the custom 3D targets, I had a great time there.
That's like goated for me. That's my favorite of all time, that range.
Yeah.
I loved it. The targets are cool. The terrain is cool. I loved it. I had a great time shooting that day. Fun little contest. But then today we shot at Rube Powell.
Yeah.
So it was your first time there. What did you think of that spot? Because it's quite a bit different than Morley. Morley's flat and you just have 10 to 100 yards. This place is like hills and mountains and you're walking around and different target sets. Like, what'd you kind of think?
Gives like disc golf vibes. I'm a fan. I prefer, that's if I have to choose somewhere to shoot, that is my like A+ answer right there. That's why I like Kapolei over in Hawaii, because you get to walk around. Now it's not as windy and twisty as Rube Powell, but yeah, I'm a fan. Sketchy though. I think it's next to a highway. That's next to an interstate. I'm like, y'all, all these cars are trusting that when I put my bow back together, I didn't miss tightening down the screw right now and not sending the arrow. So
that is kind of crazy. Like, it's been in that same location. I mean, I've been shooting there since probably 2004, 2005, and it's been there, like I told you, I'm pretty sure since the 40s. And so has that highway, that freeway has been there a long time too. And to my knowledge, I mean, I don't believe an arrow has ever like hit a car or anything.
I just jinxed it.
Isn't that crazy though?
What are the likelihoods though that has never happened?
I think it's been sent over there. I think it just may have not made contact. So last year,
yeah, kind of crazy.
I had to replace my windshield heading west, like almost towards the range, and I thought a rock hit my windshield. So I go in, I drop my vehicle off, head into work or whatever. And I go and check my phone when I come out of work, and it is blown up in messages from SafeLight. They're like, "Hey, Mr. Thompson, hey, could you call us back? It's an emergency." I call them back. They're like, "There was a bullet in your windshield, a freaking bullet in my windshield." So I don't know if it like skipped off the ground or what, but the top frame, kind of like where my front camera sensor is, it was lodged in there. So
no way,
bro. They're like, they gave it to me bagged up for a police report and everything. I don't think somebody shot just a random one, but I think it just kind of like, it was in the road maybe and skipped. Somebody at some point discharged a round on the H1. Dude. And I was heading west. I was like, oh my God.
That's an insane story.
Dead center. High.
Yeah. Dang, that's a blessing you didn't come through the windshield, number one. And number two, at least now you have some street credibility to say you've been in a drive-by, sort of. You know what I mean?
You know what?
But you were,
I don't know
if you're driving by the shooter.
I don't know if I want that street cred. Because you know what I mean? I try to throw people off with the privileged bowhunter name. Yeah. So like, I don't know if I want to regress to drive by street cred. Yeah, you know?
Well, plus, like, I don't know if it counts.
Trying to claim street.
Well, I also, like, if you...
My credit score just dropped, dog. Yeah, shit. Dogs are barking, birds are chirping, white picket fence.
But if you think about it, right, like, the logistics of it, I don't know, like, it can't be a drive-by if it's opposite. Like, because, like,
The driving by.
he did the driving by, not the shooting. So it's like...
You know what?
He got... That's crazy. So wait a minute. Let me try to. I gotta try to figure this situation out.
He hit me with
So you're saying was there a gun range nearby?
no gun range over there.
There's nothing.
No.
Houses, like what's around? Is it a rural area? Like this is crazy.
So you remember heading out to Kapolei, H1 West, right?
Yeah.
To the right, you got those hills, and if you pay attention, there's some cattle up there.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Nothing.
We're past Waikele. We're past the Eva exit.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, at least now that I'm happy you're all good because that could have been bad. But dude, it is crazy because, like, you wonder if a discharged bullet could have just been, like you said, maybe just sitting on the road and someone
Off their tire.
their tire like a rock.
Yep.
But then that probably wouldn't work because it wouldn't have probably hit. Like, it would have hit sideways or something, most likely, or backwards. Like, I don't know. And then I don't know if it would lodge in the windshield. Like,
Shout out to
Safe Light.
Shout out to Elon though. Elon building the glass that, the glass that could protect the president. Apparently.
Yeah, true, facts. So, okay, so we shot indoor, and then we shot today at Rube Pal. So today we did some pretty fun challenges. By the way, this video is going to be on Privileged Bowhunter channel. So if you guys want to see it, pop over to Privileged Bowhunter. Be sure to smash the subscribe button, hit privilegedbowhunter.com and watch the video. Drop a comment if you're watching it right now to let us know what you think. And there are some questions for the audience in there as well. But we did quite a bit of unmarked today. And I wouldn't say either of us did stellar.
I say we did all right.
Did okay.
I think we could have done better. There's room for improvement, but we're going to stay positive.
Yes.
I'd say did pretty. I mean, the most you're ever off was only on one, and it was by you both marked like 10 yards off on a small target.
That was the first one.
Aside from that, it was usually you were both off by only 5 or less.
That's why these folks who do unmarked are just goated, bro. Like, in my opinion, that's like my favorite to watch because, man, you got to be a good guesser. And then, like, the other part of it is in your mind, when you got you need to stick with your yardage. Like, don't say 40 and then I'm going to hold high with my 40 pin. Like, if you said 40, just stick with it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Good point.
You know what I mean?
I used to shoot a lot of unmarked, but because that's how even the local shoots used to do it, is they would all be unmarked. So we shot unmarked all the time. And then there became a time where it just wasn't a thing we were doing anymore. Like all of them switched to rangefinders, which makes sense. Like a lot of people want to go to practice for hunting. And when you're hunting, you have a rangefinder. So like it makes sense. But for practicing unmarked, if I was ever to go start competing in unmarked for a year, like I would have to spend quite a bit of time practicing because right now I'm not good enough. Like
I think it's
hard. It's a skill, bro. Like it's one of those things it's a muscle you have to work, just like anything else. But I agree with you. I think it's so impressive when guys or girls can go out there and go, I think it's like a strong 37. And that's how they do it a lot of times. They'll be like, I think it's like a strong 37. So I'm going to shoot for 38 and it could be 40, but they always like sort of bracket it and then try to find it. Yeah, it's like a whole freaking math problem. It's just cool. Yeah.
Fan. You need to, I think it's what it boils down to, kind of what we did over these last couple of days is almost like the MMA of the archery world, right? You did some target style stuff. Sure. You like,
good point. You
got to be able to do it all, right? Somebody grabs you, what are you going to do? Somebody's just striking with you, what are you going to do? And then here, just not, in my opinion, not ducking any smoke. Like if we're going to step on this line, then let's step on this line. Look yourself in the face and get better. We need to get better. All right, now we're outside. Now we're guessing. Well, guess better, nerd. Like what? At the end of the day,
dude, I've always said that about hunting specifically. That I think I think one of the keys to being a good, consistently successful hunter. So that's what's always most impressive to me is when hunters are consistent, like often, you know what I mean? Like a high percentage of the time. And to do that, I believe it helps a ton to be a very diverse, well-rounded hunter. Be like, okay, I'm competent and good at glassing. I feel comfortable in my spot and stalk skills and using the wind and being quiet, but I also can go sit for 12 hours in a tree stand. Or I know how to build a pop-up, do a pop-up blind or build my own ground blind. Or still hunting. Like the more skills that you can get proficient at hunting, all that does is help you in your toolkit. So when you go hunt some terrain that maybe you weren't really expecting, say you're thinking you're going to hunt flat desert and you're thinking, okay, I'll go out there and spot and stalk. But then you get there and all the animals are hanging out in timber.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, well, luckily I brought a tree stand. I know how to hunt that way. Or I'll still hunt through it or sit a trail. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Or sweet road hunting.
Or road hunting, whatever. But I think like being more diverse.
We're just playing.
Yeah.
We're just playing.
But being more diverse is so much better than just saying like, this is the only way to skin a cat. And that's true in hunting and in archery and MMA. Like, I think that's why MMA has probably become so popular over, things like boxing. I mean, there's still obviously an audience for boxing, but not in comparison. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think you're right. I think being well-rounded, being good at multiple things, especially if they're in the same niche, you're just becoming more well-rounded in the niche.
You got to be okay with like going through that time period of just not being good and established. I feel like some people, I'm coming from a unique perspective because I didn't start this as a child, right? Like dad didn't hand me a bow. I started this as an adult, right? So part of the reason why I love a Copperley archery range so much is John and Leslie were there with my first arrows. They watched me destroy 3 arrows in a row, and they were like, brother, I'm here.
That's insane.
Like, be okay with looking like a fool. Like, figure out whatever you need to do, whatever is holding you back, not turn this into some weird therapy session, but whatever that doesn't allow you to try something new because you don't want to look dumb at it, bro, just go.
Fact.
Just go.
Dude, I love that.
I got a question for y'all though.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't stir the pot on 3 platforms right now. 2 of them are like they're still arguing. They're arguing to this moment. Should crossbows be allowed in archery season?
No.
Oh, quick. From the hip.
Now, firstly, I'll say that like this isn't really as pressing of an issue where we're from than it is like back east. Okay. It's not really a thing. Like, I mean, it is some, but for the most part, Western states, like people can only hunt with a crossbow if they have like a doctor's note, not during archery season, typically in states where we frequent. But I know back east a lot in whitetail states, they have a lot of times crossbow is in archery season. My thought on it has always sort of been that I think you should only be able to use a crossbow during archery season if you have an injury note, like you're unable to shoot a compound bow or a recurve or longbow, or if you want to hunt with a crossbow, I think it makes more sense to lump it in with muzzleloader season. And I'll tell you why. I personally believe that a crossbow is a more parallel or equal weapon to a muzzleloader than it is to a bow, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. So to me, I don't think crossbows should be illegal to hunt with. I think they just should put it in a different season.
Yeah.
Or I'm totally fine if people have a blown out shoulder. You know what I mean? Like, I'm fine with that. Totally fine with, and I think that's cool. But to just lump it as a bow when people who... Look, a compound bow is much easier to shoot than a recurve or a longbow, no doubt about it. Sure. But I could not hand my compound bow to somebody I just meet on the street, even if they're my same size and can pull it back, and they are not going to be able to shoot it proficiently for at least, let's say, a week if they were practicing every single day. And
The shoulders are going to be cooked before they can eat.
yeah,
right?
and that's best case scenario, a week. It's probably going to be more like a month. In a crossbow, you're hitting the freaking middle within like 3 shots if the scope's on, and you have a good bench rest.
Best case scenario, they still couldn't do it, even if you handed them a bow that was perfectly tailored to them. Even if you went and got their peep sighted in to where they could see, if you set the draw length for them, a poundage that they could pull back, set up their sight for them and sighted it in, and handed them the bow and said, go home and you kill it down.
Figure it out on your...
Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Because it takes practice. Whereas if this, when you fully explained the muzzleloader thing, because I was ready to put it in rifle season completely. I was fucking going in traditional weapons at all. But when he explained it, it makes the most sense in the, what do they call, primitive, archery is primitive weapon, but muzzleloader has its own season a lot of time, being a primitive weapon separate from rifle and archery. And it makes the most sense there because it is primitive in a sense that it's still a crossbow. But, I mean, like, it's not like loading the string on a trad bow where, like, it takes a level of effort and force to, pull that thing back and lock it in place. Like,
Well, it depends on the type of crossbow. So some you have to actually pull back, and then some have like reels on them. But
you also can have scopes on a crossbow. People say, well, you can put magnification and clarification on your compound bow. Yeah, up to 8 power, and half the time that most people's eyes can't do a clarifier in 8 power. So my clarifier and magnification to your scope are nowhere near the same thing. Your red dot, nowhere near the same thing. Your trigger, you literally pull, nowhere near the same thing.
I mean, a release is pretty similar to a trigger, but
sure,
I mean...
No, I don't think so. Like... the speeds at which they travel compared to a
Let me break it down. Let me
no way, get them out. No.
Let me break it down though. I do believe that I think the best example is just take your classic noob, you know what I mean? Walk into your church or the grocery mart and bring out the cashier and say, "Hey, here's 2 things, both loaded up. There's a arrow in the compound bow, there's a index release on it, and then there's a crossbow with a scope and a bolt loaded up," and say, all right, try to hit the center of that target. It's going to be so much easier with a crossbow for a total noob. Let's just be realistic.
I don't even think they're going to
and look, and here's another reason why I love the muzzleloader comparison. Is it still is tough to cock and load a crossbow, like especially if it's not the types that have like a reel system or something along those lines. And it's also very hard to load up a muzzleloader. Like you got to know how to put the powder, put the little separator, use a ramrod to put the bullet in. Like there's steps to it, much like there is on a crossbow. And they shoot. I mean, muzzleloaders now can shoot very far, but a lot of times they won't let you use certain types of muzzleloader during muzzleloader season. So, like, the distance you can shoot is also relatively comparable. Like, maybe I think 150 yards with the crossbow is not. I don't think that's crazy. Like, I don't know about the sport,
you shot 120,
but I don't think that's crazy.
Flinging 150-yard arrow out of your compound.
And here's the thing.
I think 123 yards is probably a chip shot with a crossbow. Now, I could be totally...
And how long, so you've been shooting for over 20 years.
Yeah.
Right? I've been at it for 10 years now. Fairly consistently to, like, if you told somebody to go fling an arrow at 124 yards like we did today.
Yeah.
Where is that going to hit?
Not even anywhere close.
Not even in the same vicinity of it. It's not even... So what do y'all say then to the folks who say, well, if you start this argument, where do you draw the line? Because if that's the point, then this is a comment I get all the time. Well, why don't we just limit archery season to trad bows? Because compound's so much easier and there's let off and you don't have to, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What do you say to people who argue about what they call a slippery slope.
I agree that is. I agree with it. That is a slippery slope to a point. I guess I don't have a good answer for that I've really thought about. All I can tell you is what I think initially here in the question.
Yeah.
And I guess it would be that people have been hunting with compound bows early 70s, maybe even the 60s with compound bows. I don't believe crossbows, how they are now, really have become super common to hunt with till a lot more recent. So maybe it would just be like a time thing, like, okay. But then you could say, oh, well, the Matthews lift was made in 2026. So it's like, it's tough for me, but maybe just that the compound bow has been in rotation with certain regulations and caps as far as how fast they are, the poundage. You got to be able to pull them. It's more physical. Maybe something like historical based is all I could think of.
What you got?
This is crazy. The comments are going to be lit up in this one. Jump in the comments. Let us know. I love it. He's stirring the pot. You can hear a pin drop in here.
What I'm going to say is not polite.
Oh, geez. Oh, Pete. Oh, geez.
To the people leaving those comments. You know, you have ever seen those reels that, like, ladies do sometimes on Instagram or TikTok where they legit, like, they'll show the reel that they were, you know, cooking in their kitchen or something. And then they literally pull up the comment with the picture of the dude who left the comment and was like, that ass is flatter than pancake. And she then comes back with a heater or whatever. I'm like, that's what needs to be done here. Because listen here, Linda, like for the person who says that, oh, well, the compound's so much easier, so maybe we should just all shoot trads then. First off, have you ever even shot a trad or a compound? No. Get up off your computer and how about you go down to the archery shop and try shooting one or the other and tell me how easy it is. Secondly, for the trad shooter who has shot a trad bow,
props to y'all.
That gosh dang compound bow then and tell me how easy it is. Because you're shooting a trad bow, whatever it is, whether you like it for most people, or you're shooting it for a reason. Because you can't pull the weight of a compound, or you can't see through the peep of a compound. Having those things doesn't make it easier.
I think let off.
Yeah, I think it does.
I like...
And it's hard.
Definitely
you got to be more physical to shoot a recurve.
For sure, it's easier in that sense. But is it hard to put all of those traits also still together and be good at it?
Yeah.
Yes, just as hard. Like it's also hard to pick up a trad and be really good at it. But both are still in the realm.
Yeah, because a 20-yard shot on a trad is like.
Oh,
that's not easy.
Yeah. Bang, bail with a trad. I'd punch myself in the face. But they're both still in the realm enough to me of hard. So if you say you're walking a slippery slope, I'm like, both of those are so far into the slippery slope that it's like they're both equally. You could say a trad is harder, yes, but they're both so hard to me as far as being traditional weapons. That the gap between both and a crossbow, it's fathoms apart. I mean, the deepest of the Black Sea apart, you know? And there's not...
Mariana's Trench.
Yeah, there's not a Mariana's Trench between the compound and the trad for me to say, well, where is it in the slippery slope? They're both way down at the bottom. And here's the crossbow way up here on its high and mighty pedestal. I don't want to hear it. It's just
who would have guessed that?
Can you shoot them off a tripod?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, that's what. Come on, bro.
Another thing that it's like. Now, I will say Arizona, and unless you have a handicap license, Arizona banned the tripod from being used with your recurve.
So you mean your crossbow, not recurve?
Yeah.
Using a tripod with a recurve would be crazy. What are you putting the grip on it and let her fly?
So here's my line.
All right, let me hear this.
The reason why I draw the line at compound for archery season is because, remember, I'm coming from a perspective of my first animal I was probably 24, right? So like already an adult. I got in the vicinity of animals and in range where I could have put them down so many times before an arrow actually connected. You know where I messed up every single time? going from here to here, close enough to be at hunting range. These animals, they survive by catching movement. So if you're close enough to get to full draw, and then you have to do this, don't tell me that doing this is comparable to bringing it up to your shoulder. Like that is a totally different planet. So like, I don't know if I'll
be locked and loaded.
Right. I don't know if
I'm not locked and loaded. Like I can have my arrow on and my release hooked up.
So different.
But the bow still got to get drawn back.
That's,
like you can walk around with your crossbow ready to go. Boop, like even especially if you're at a close, you stalk into a close range. You don't even need your scope. You literally pull the crossbow up to your eyeball and pull your trigger. It's like
that's why it's not a slippery slope for me.
Like not closer to a gun than it is to both bows that have to actively be drawn back to make the shot.
Has that been y'all experience with like, okay, getting close? That's okay.
Not him, but
cool. Part one done. I'm close enough. Now getting to full draw with especially where I'm at, all these axis deer everywhere. Like there's so many eyes and their bodies they match the dirt. They match the red dirt. So you didn't even see this eye. And then all of a sudden, and the whole field erupts and everything's going just, ugh.
It's like,
yeah, I know. I agree. I mean, I think that, the draw, I never considered what you said, but to me that makes a whole lot of sense because
it's just another check mark in the closer to a gun than a bow lineup.
Well, I mean, think if you're sitting in a tree stand with a crossbow, it's going to be cocked. It has a bolt in it. Yep. You're sitting it on the top of the railing, and then you just literally
tripod
and shoot. Or you're on the ground in a tripod, and there's no movement required. Whereas with a bow, like you said,
that's a big movement.
A lot. I mean, look, it's a 29.5-inch movement plus any up and down you do in your process.
And then let's take into account too, your nerves are.
Yeah.
So as strong as you are here, flat on a flat range, and then all of a sudden, adrenaline dump is real. So now you see them videos when they're like, help me draw my bow back. Like you ain't got to deal with that. Mm-hmm. So
good point.
I figure we probably run out of time. I did have one more point on that. People always say, I'm sure you've heard it in these conversations, with so many people out here trying to attack our hunting rights and take away public lands. I can't believe you guys are infighting about this. And I reject that premise, right? Mm-hmm. I think we, as an archery community, whether you're shooting a crossbow, because at the end of the day, do whatever you're allowed to do wherever you're allowed to do it at.
Agreed.
Whether you're shooting a crossbow, muzzleloader, fixed blade, mechanical, whatever tribe you're in, we're still in one big family. I think it's healthy for us to have this dialogue. It's sparring. We are within our own gym sparring before going out to a fight. Could you imagine like two fighters on a team saying, hey, with all the people we're going to have to compete against out there, we can't be wasting our time in here fighting against each other. This is your argument should stand up against my argument. And if it doesn't, and I find out that you made a point that I hadn't thought about, I have to get off of my heel and change my opinion, right? I have to be willing to change my opinion. Or we're going to look like idiots when it's time to go up against these folks who want to take public lands and who want to do this or the third, because we have just made our arguments in echo chambers, thinking that we're being unified. We're not being unified. We're weakening ourselves because we're not willing to have the dialogue. The dialogue should be had. It should be respectful. And then the best points win. And then we take those to Capitol Hill, wherever we need to take them. That's my soapbox on that.
Dude, I think that was very well said. I've always said that some people will come with the point that you shouldn't promote hunting. You shouldn't be trying to get people into hunting. Like, that's a bad thing, right? And I've always rejected that and said that I think we need to prospect more hunters. One, because the older generation of hunters is gonna be dying. They're gonna die off. It's just part of life, right? And the younger folks are not replacing them at even close to the same rate. Well, because, one, people are having a lot less kids.
People can't afford to have kids.
And number two, kids, of course, are spend more time inside, video games, phones, being more connected. So that's part of it too. If you do not prospect and bring more people into your sport, into the gym, essentially, then you're cooked because you can't take anything to Capitol Hill, right? You need the strength in numbers. I had never really thought of the way you pushed it, but I don't disagree with it. I think it's good to have dialogue back and forth about different issues, so long as you're not like discouraging someone you agree with to quit the sport, if that makes sense.
Right.
But if you're just having a debate back and forth saying, hey, I think fixed blades are whack, and I think you should use a beast. But I'm not saying, hey, quit hunting because you're using an iron will.
Idiot.
That would be dumb, right? But I totally agree with you that as long as you're not infighting in this like bullying way that's going to make people want to quit and reject the culture and signing the ballot measures and things like that, but it's in a respectful dialogue, like sparring type way.
Yep.
I'm all for it.
Well, I look at it this way, and I'm not going to talk about politics, but I'm going to use it as an example, not any specific politic, but just politics in general. So, we just had this talk when we were on the hunt. If everyone just assumed that all the rules and laws are correct as they stand, right now, whether it's on your side on the left or your side on the right or whatever, or as it is in hunting right now, the bylaws and laws that exist they're just right as they are. How are you ever going to inflict improvement and change?
Let her cook.
We couldn't. So, think of the grand scheme of politics. Even if you were on the left or the right, that doesn't mean that all the laws that currently exist, one way or the other, are all already right. That's why we vote but it's fun fact, I've never voted a day in my life.
We're going to change that next year.
I have many times. I'm a good, proud voter.
Yeah, but if you never debate within your own side, how are you improving your side?
Facts.
Doesn't make any sense. So why would we not debate within our own side? Like, we're not out to get somebody, cancel their piece of equipment and say, nope, get rid of it. And we're also not here to just, stand behind the leader and say, it must be right. It must be right. No, if you don't debate between each other, how are you going to improve yourselves to improve your party, or i.e. your hunting community, to grow your land management laws and your, habitat and conservancy? Like, that just logically makes no sense to me to have that argument of why are we arguing with each other.
That's why I haven't responded to some of the comments, because I'm like, I need more time to flesh out a complete thought to explain it. I think because by nature of what I do for work, a lot of it is you're audited by your friends, people you came up with, and now their job is they did your job. Now their job is to come back and look at you, and then you transfer, and your job is to come back and look at their books. And you can always tell somebody who's kind of immature in that position or new. You can tell who the green one is, because when somebody looks at their books and says, that work you've been doing for the last 2 years, you did this wrong. In accordance with this, you're wrong. In accordance with this, you're wrong. You have to this date to fix it. And then the person who's been doing the work, they get so emotional about somebody picking apart the program, right? But you can tell the more mature folks, afterwards, they're sitting down, eating together, laughing and talking, because at the end of the day, it's to improve the processes. And at the end of the day, it is to get better. So once you recognize the lens that I am talking from, bro, if you're a crossbow hunter and somebody's jumping you, I got your back. I was raised that if you and your brother can go back and forth, but if somebody jumps on your brother out somewhere, you both better get beat up then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I got your back, but that doesn't mean that I'm whining for having this conversation, right?
Dude, no.
You know what I mean?
I think
that's why I love the politics example.
Yeah.
Because
it was a good example.
You use the Navy example. It's like, you have to be able to improve processes and the overall picture of what it is. It can't just always stay the same. If that were the case, technology wouldn't be where it is right now. The country wouldn't be where it is. it wouldn't be better than it was in the past.
Nope.
You know, it's just things always have to improve and always can improve.
Or at the very least,
You
change.
debate within each other.
Things change.
Find whether there's ups and downs, but the goal is to always go this way.
Yep.
You can't go this way if you don't discuss amongst each other.
Yep.
So it's not to cut people down, but maybe open, like you say, open your mind to the fact that it's improving the process. So nobody's trying to come at you and cut you down, but maybe there is a way to improve the process and, increase animal, numbers and habitat, blah, blah, blah. For how many times do you go out and you see a crossbow hunter practicing with their crossbow?
Well, a lot
Are
of
they allowed? Yeah, they're not allowed at a lot of places.
No.
Huh.
So
they use different targets, so like the densities have to be different. I'm sure it exists somewhere, but
and hopefully, you don't know, hopefully they're practicing at their house, but are they practicing as much as a trad or a compound shooter are?
fun fact,
don't know.
I only have shot a crossbow one time in my life.
Yeah.
I shot one time.
But all I say is that, it takes a lot of practice to get good at a compound. So one, are you practicing that much with your crossbow? And then two, you brought it up of like the nerves factor, and like I have from a source heard, that doesn't mean it's true or that it's factual or there's a data or statistic to prove it, but that in their history of guiding and serving hunters, they have had more injured animals from their crossbow hunters than they have their compound hunters. And it begs the question, not saying it is true because there's no statistic out there. Maybe there is, who knows? Come at me with them in the comments, but there's a much faster point that they can get to pulling that trigger than the compound or trad shooter can. So did they have the time to work through those nerves, calm themselves, breathe through the shot? Which, if they don't, and they just pull the trigger, well, I'm inclined to believe that could cause more injured animals than the compound shooter who has to practice and work through the nerves. Because you could be nervous as hell and you just... And just like a long range shooter with a rifle, you don't just pick up the rifle and because it has a scope on it, you hit the middle every time. Like if they don't know how to breathe and work through it, you're not going to hit the target every single time. Well, it could be the same for a crossbow shooter shooting an animal, and then you're shooting them in the back, you're shooting them in the butt, you're shooting them in the leg. And so I'm not saying you do that every time as a crossbow hunter, but that's stuff that has to, again, be thought about in the process. And so it's like, well, if it relates more to a gun, and you've got to, then there are certain things that they should be practicing or doing. I know some states don't even require the person to, who's getting their hunting license, to show that they can pull the bolt back, the string back. So like they'll go with their parents, the parents will load the crossbow. All they have to do is prove that they can pull the trigger 3 times. Well, what if daddy's not in the crossbow, in the blind with you every single time? And then you just injured an animal and it's laying there, but you can't shoot it again because you can't pull the crossbow back.
Better pull the knife out.
Yeah, better get over and slit some throats.
Well, I'm sure the comment section will be just a happy, fun-loving bunch.
Yeah.
A nice group.
Conversation.
Brianna went on a good rant there. She was rapping at the last 15 minutes, But
Love you guys. Love you guys.
hey, thank you, bro. Appreciate you. Like and subscribe to the podcast channel. And 5 stars, Apple, Spotify. TeamBD saves 20%. Badlandsgear.com. That's big. It's huge.
I'm going to have to stock up.
Yep. Shop. PrivilegedBowhunter.com. He's got hats. He wants to sell out so he can get more cooler hats and sell those too. So,
And whoever that person is that bought 3 yesterday, like, there was one order. I don't know if you messed up to buy one.
I'm sipping 3.
Order will be fulfilled tomorrow.
Yeah. But appreciate y'all for watching. Head over to Privileged Bowhunter channel, subscribe to that too, and
Nice.
Yeah.
Privileged.
There we go. See, he's so smooth with it. But that's going to wrap it up. 2 podcasts with this guy. Blessed to be friends with him and make a bunch of content these last 3 days. And hopefully we'll be doing it again soon. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next podcast.